Hey everybody, Drew here for DDG Games here on YouTube.com. Coming at you finally, weeks later, with the 12th episode of the DDG Games podcast here on the channel, or what we try to pass off as a podcast. Joining me on the phone, finally, after his big move into a better place with better internet, is my younger brother, Desert Nord. Hey, bro.
Hey there. How you doing?
I'm alright, tired because of work earlier, but it is what it is. So, on today's edition, we got weeks of stuff to talk about. Troy Levitt has quit his job at Avalanche Studios. We'll get into that. Sucker Punch and a couple of people involved with Ghost of Tsushima have been honored in Japan. We'll get into that. But Microsoft's purchase of Bethesda is now completely official. We'll get into that and what that means for Bethesda games. Sony making some questionable decisions with PS3 and older consoles, and we'll get into that. Microsoft also rumored to be adding other stuff to Game Pass. We'll get into that. Games with Gold, PlayStation Plus are actually active and downloadable already. We'll get into those. MLB The Show 21, there's a new thing about that. There's new information about Cyberpunk 2077's multiplayer component or game. And I've been playing Outriders from Xbox Game Pass, and I'm going to talk about my first impressions of playing that. And just added to the script today, reports on when the shortages for PS5 and Xbox Series consoles will be hopefully ending. And that's largely what we're going to be doing. So, before we get into that, have you been playing anything recently, Nord?
I haven't really gotten into it just yet. I've been sort of exploring all the other services.
What have you been exploring on your Xbox One?
Well, the streaming.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, those services.
Like which ones?
Well, the free ones at first, but we're probably going to do Discovery Plus or something like that.
Yeah, if you do Disney Plus, that's your business, but I'm not giving them my fucking money. Netflix, I only went back to because fuck Disney.
Yeah, I'm not doing that one either.
Yeah. There's Funimation. I don't know if that's still a thing or not. And then
yeah, it's only cartoons though.
Yeah, well, I think, and then there's other ones for anime, which I kind of want to get into, but I don't know which one to do.
What's that one? Crunchyroll.
I think that there's constant rumors of them getting bought out by somebody at some point, so I hesitate to do that one for that reason. But it is what it is. Otherwise, for me, with games that I've been playing lately, it's just been Skyrim on PC mostly. Like I was alluding to earlier, I've been playing Outriders, which I did on Twitch, and you can see on DDG Gaming here on YouTube. I did that for about 49 minutes on the dot because the servers went down while I was playing.
Yep.
No, not the servers on Twitch, the servers for the game, which means that it took me right back to the main screen, and which means that, well, I'll get into that when we get to that topic, but I got some stuff to say about the game because of that situation.
Yeah.
But it is what it is. Otherwise, yeah, it's been largely Skyrim, a little Madden here and there while I've been watching lore videos on Elder Scrolls on the YouTube app on the Switch while playing Madden on the Xbox on the other screen.
Yep.
Because I can do that because I have two fucking TVs here now.
Yeah, well, as a gamer, you gotta have that.
But two 4K TVs? I think I ever did it.
Well, not with certain games.
Well, in the case of the one that I use as my computer monitor, I have the Xbox and the PS4 hooked up to. And then the other one, I have the Switch, the OG Xbox, and the 360 hooked up to. And I had the PS3 hooked up, but I unplugged it so I could plug my fan in and put it in the window.
Yeah.
I choose to sacrifice the PS3 to stay cool.
Yeah, well, all you need is a power bar, and suddenly you've solved all your problems.
Well, I do have a power bar. The problem is I have too many fucking things plugged into them.
Yeah, well, a bigger one then.
I have two.
Two bigger ones then.
One is on one side of the room, which it looks like every outlet's full. No, wait, there's one empty one on the end here that I didn't see because it's black. And then the other is on the other side of the other entertainment center by the other outlet.
Yeah.
But it is what it is. But anyway, getting on with things. First topic, Troy Levitt, I hope I pronounced your name right, has quit his job at Avalanche Studio after cancel culture mob outrage. However, from what I remember from the story at the time, as reported on by Geeks and Gamers, which is where I was watching the coverage of the story, he did not get fired. He willingly quit.
Yep.
And with no bad feelings with the studio or WB Games, which I think is the publisher that they were working with, but I'm not sure. So don't quote me on that. If you guys know, comment that down below, please. But yeah, he left willingly to go back to his YouTube channel to, as he said, make a video talking about what happened, which I wound up not watching because I eventually had forgotten about this topic when I started moving on to writing down the other stuff for this episode. But do you want to add anything to this?
Well, I would simply ask, since I didn't actually follow that story, I would simply ask what he said was his reason, because like you said, he wasn't mad at the studio, he wasn't mad at his employer. Really.
Yeah, and and as he pointed out himself, he told his employer about his YouTube channel, and they went, so?
Yeah.
There was no issues whatsoever.
So was it just like a group of Twitter people doing their thing again?
Is it ever any different?
Well, it does vary, but I'm sure that's the most common place for the origin of cancellation.
As usual, it was like I think it was one in particular mainstream journalist site or whatever that said that they weren't going to talk about the Harry Potter game in their forums until this guy was gone, and that anyone talking about it would be banned from the forum, type of thing.
Well, that's just iron-fisted.
And then as soon as he left, I started seeing stuff about, good, he's gone. Now we need to get the game canceled because it's Harry Potter. J.K. Rowling.
Oh, yeah, well, of course, she's already run afoul of those Twitter people.
So getting this guy gone isn't enough. Now the game can't come out either. Okay, yeah. That makes sense. God, fucking help us.
No, none of it actually does make any sense, but it's what's happening.
I know, it's being sarcastic.
Yeah.
In my usual heavy-handed way. On a good note, though, Sucker Punch has been honored, or to be honored, with a permanent, let me pick this up so I can read this, as permanent ambassadors for the real island that their game takes place on in Japan.
Oh.
Because,
well, that's nice of them.
Yeah, because evidently the Japanese people and culture liked Ghost of Tsushima so much that specifically the two guys from the studio, Nick Fox and Jason Connell, apparently, according to the report, to be permanent ambassadors to the island of Tsushima in Japan.
Yep. Yeah, it depends.
Good
Depends on the pronunciation, but yeah.
Awesome job, Sucker Punch. I can't say anything else there.
Well, of course, you know that a lot of Japanese culture is about reservation and respect.
And preservation will be a theme in this show when we get to Sony in a little bit here. But congratulations to Nick Fox and Jason Connell on that. It's 3 weeks late, give or take, but congratulations from me at DrewDad Games, and I assume from you at Desert Nord on YouTube as well.
Yeah, that's really an achievement for those guys.
Absolutely. I believe it's an American studio in Sucker Punch, to be honored in that manner by Japan. That says fucking something to their ability to make a great game.
Yeah. If it were me, I'd be really honored that they would bring them in.
Yeah.
You know.
Into their culture.
Into their cultural fold almost.
Yeah. So we got American ambassadors to Japan from Sucker Punch now. Sweet.
Yeah. Well, we've already got thousands in other cases.
Well,
but yeah, that one is an interesting case.
Well, in this case, I look forward to see what Sucker Punch makes next now. Even more so. Yeah. Speaking of what's going to be good for Xbox in the end and piss off Sony fanboys, which is fine in my book right now. The Bethesda/Microsoft deal is now finally official. Contracts are signed. It's done. Period. With the announcement, they did a roundtable with, as one of my friends on Xbox Live calls him, God Howard. God help us. Pete Hines, the head of Microsoft, Phil Spencer, and then other people from Bethesda and Microsoft did a roundtable to talk about the deal becoming official and what it means for Bethesda's studios and games. Evidently, some games will now officially be exclusive, and the wording is specific, to platforms that feature Game Pass on it.
Yeah.
And that's key, because in Game Pass Ultimate you have access to, for $15 a month, Game Pass on PC and Game Pass in the console version of Game Pass. So that means that Bethesda games like Elder Scrolls 6, Fallout 5, which is way the fuck down the road, potentially Starfield and others. Let's see. What else is now owned by Microsoft with this deal? Wolfenstein, Doom, the Dishonored franchise, and so on and so forth.
Yeah, which is why it was a multi-billion-dollar deal.
Yeah, which is why it was 7.4 or something like that.
Yep.
So when I told Gucci this,
if they don't screw it up, it could be very lucrative for them.
But when I told Gucci this, he was like, "That's gonna piss off all of my friends because they're all on PlayStation for him."
Yeah.
And I'm friends with some of them too, and they tend to like Bethesda games, but get an Xbox, guys. Or if you already have a gaming PC, you're set.
Yeah.
Because they're still going to be on Steam, to my knowledge. But it is what it is.
Yeah, unless they start putting out like old school exclusives.
Well, when this became official, every game but one that I could see of Bethesda games automatically went live into Xbox Game Pass. All but one.
Uh-huh.
Which had me asking, does this mean something? Like, does this mean that it's going to get a remake or something? And the game in question is Fallout 3.
Yeah.
It's not in Game Pass, last I checked. So, where's Fallout 3? Is it getting a re-release? There are questions that need answers with that, because that is a Bethesda Game Studio game.
Oh yeah, well, not to mention that's the one that, like, catapulted them into the fore of gaming.
Yeah, back in 2008. Yeah. Remember back when we were watching E3 and the introduction of Fallout 3 had us going, well, what's that?
Yeah.
So we were taken back and interested from the very beginning.
Of course, that's to assume that Oblivion wasn't responsible.
Well,
I don't think it was.
Well, we still wound up falling in love with it, in spite of
other people will argue it was Skyrim, but I just think Skyrim was like the apex, the absolute peak of their greatness. Other people will say it's other titles, but you know me.
Speaking of Skyrim, that reminds me, early at work I was playing the Spotify playlist that represents the brand name of Judat Games at work. And the theme song for Skyrim played because it's one of the songs in the playlist, because I put stuff in there that represents either the gaming channel of Judat Games, this channel, or Judat Games on Twitch, which is largely gaming stuff, but there's some stuff from Tom McDonald in there as well. But but I mentioned that there's one video game song left that hadn't played yet, which was Skyrim. And I said to the guy that I was next to, who also plays games on Xbox and whatnot, and I went, there's one theme song for a game that has yet to play from the playlist, and if you can't guess what it is, I can't talk to you anymore. And it started playing, and then it took him 10 seconds. So I was concerned. But it took him 10 seconds saying, oh, it's Skyrim. I'm like, thank God you know that one at least. Because the other ones that played were the main theme from Halo 1. Night City from Cyberpunk 2077, which I understand that he didn't get that because he hadn't played the game, and you got to play the game to hear that song.
Sure, it doesn't click with a person until you've heard it in the game.
Yeah, but Halo he didn't get, which, in his defense, he did say, well, I've never played a Halo game. I'm like, and how are you on Xbox? Yeah. And then there was another one, but I can't remember what it was.
Which, by the way, bro,
but anyway,
that actually shows you how unlikely it was for Halo to become such a widespread, massive, multi-title hit.
That it turned out to be.
Game.
Yeah, at first, yeah. And now...
And for some people, it never became their favorite game, or even a game they would ever consider playing.
Yeah, because, well, if you look at the hardcore fan base, you have some in the hardcore fan base. I would call myself a casual,
a fucking casual?
A casual fan of the Halo series, in the manner that I don't love it, but I do have every game, or have had every game, and have played every one.
Yeah.
To the point where I can tell you which ones are my favorite, which ones I thought were okay, and which ones I basically don't like. And I can tell you that my least favorite is Halo 5 Guardians, which was the most recent one, but it is what it is.
Sure, the quality tends to go down over time if they make too many titles.
Yeah.
Someone needs to let Assassin's Creed know that.
In spite of that, I am looking forward to Halo Infinite and seeing what happens with that. But to switch gears here, Sony, our favorite company to shit on right now, in the gaming sphere at least, Sony will apparently be shutting down the online stores for the PS3, the PS Vita, and the PSP. I didn't know that was still running.
Yeah, that's surprising,
come July 2nd and sometime in August, I think, for the Vita. So this is where the discussion about game preservation comes into the show. Sony clearly doesn't give a single flying fuck a single flying fuck is what I was trying to say.
Yeah.
About their past franchises, much less their past platforms. Which means that in theory, with this now becoming a thing, this means that we get to speculate on when they're going to shut down the PS4's online store. I'm willing to bet 3 months into the PS6's life cycle, if there is a PS6.
Yep.
That's what I'm thinking. Anything to add?
Yeah, I don't know what's going to happen, but that sounds plausible.
Yeah, especially if you look at Sony, doesn't really give a flying fuck about reverse compatibility. The only console manufacturer that seems to care about, to any reasonable degree, outside of maybe Steam, to a degree at least, on PC, is Microsoft and Xbox.
Yep. Because look at what's available to play just on your Xbox One alone. Xbox One games, 360 games, original Xbox games. Series X is supposed to be able to play original Xbox games, 360 games, and according to reports, the full entire catalog of Xbox One games in its entirety. Yep.
Without question. Unlike the PS4, most of the games are playable on PS5. Okay, you clearly don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
And the PS4 can't play anything but PS4 games, so...
Yep.
So there's that. So, even more of a reason, as if I needed any more of a reason to not waste my time with PS5, and just hope at some point in the future that I can get my hands on an Xbox Series X at some point.
Yeah.
It's the only one that I care about at this point. Because I am no fucking way ever going to touch any digital-only fucking console.
Yeah, it'd be pretty
stupid.
Pretty much a waving the white flag in a certain way.
Yeah, and especially if the digital storefronts, for example, PlayStation, are going to get shut down at some point in the future, in future generations, for what you currently have at this time. Now, on the upside of the PS3
so your digital version of your Xbox is going to be a paperweight when that happens.
Well, in the case of Xbox, not likely, if they keep going down the path that they're going. They're still going to... Because evidently the online store for the 360 is still running.
Well, sure, but 360 wasn't a digital-only system.
That's true, but still, just the fact that you could still buy games digitally on the 360 even today makes Sony look like they don't give a fuck about keeping the top spot from Microsoft.
Yeah, well... It's business decisions, and they can go right and they can go wrong.
And so far it's going wrong. It's going downhill fast for Sony, in my opinion. But speaking of Microsoft and adding value, this is complete rumor. This is not confirmed. This only came across my desk like 7 days ago, maybe 5 days ago, give or take. And it was reported, I think, by someone at Geeks and Gamers, but I can't remember for sure. It might have been Ryan Kinnell, but I don't remember at this point. But Microsoft rumored to be attempting to get Ubisoft Plus as a part of Xbox Game Pass Ultimate. That would be a major fuck of a deal.
Yeah, it would.
As if EA Play in there wasn't, as if MLB The Show coming to Xbox isn't. If Ubisoft allows things like Assassin's Creed or the next one to go into Game Pass on launch day, why in the fuck would you ever play any multiplayer on PlayStation at that point, at launch? Seriously.
You pretty much wouldn't.
If this is the direction that Microsoft is taking Game Pass. If this winds up turning out to be eventually happening. I'm not saying it is, because take it with a huge dump truck assault. It's rumor only. We don't know if this will actually happen. But if it does, this would be basically, for me at least, almost to the level of Microsoft outright acquiring Bethesda. Almost. Because looking at it through the Game Pass lens, all those games are in Game Pass. If this happens with Ubisoft, or if a deal kind of like it, just adding their backlog like with EA in there, that's basically every Assassin's Creed game that has come out up to this point. That's every Far Cry game. That's Immortal Phoenix... that's Immortal Phoenix Rising, because that's an Ubisoft game.
Yep.
That's, let's see, what else from Ubi? That's the Watch Dogs series, which you can say what you want about it. That's also the South Park games. That was published by Ubi as well.
Yep.
You get the idea.
Yeah, they might as well sell the whole damn company at that point.
Well, not really, but speaking of Xbox, unless you want to add anything else to Microsoft and the rumor of Ubisoft Plus in Game Pass.
Well, no, it's just one of those things where obviously Microsoft is making money moves, and studios are getting caught up in the money moves of Microsoft.
And Sony's just sitting there, just doing what they've done since 2012, and then just roll out exclusives that they own.
Yeah, you mean like the slowest trip and fall we've ever seen in like business history?
Well, I'm talking about like releasing games physically on their console, having the Plus games as well. Just basically like business as usual. Not doing anything different. Microsoft is making moves, doing a lot of shit differently than they've ever done before. And it's turning a lot of heads at this point. And the sun just came back out.
Well, sure, but here's the thing, bro. As we've seen in the gaming industry many times,
the
one that makes the most waves, or the one that's making the waves, is the one that drowns the others.
Well, we'll see, because Nintendo is just off on their own, doing their own thing, and they're very successful at it. So they're just minding their own business. So
the funny thing is, we never thought that they would actually develop such intensely different brands. These three brands were like all in unison, making, even in some cases, the same exact titles with variations 10, 15 years ago. Now they're literally so different, and their services and their offerings and the games are so different that they basically don't even affect each other unless they do something really crazy.
Yeah. So, with that said, Games with Gold for April. Currently live and it started on the 1st, so it's currently active until the 30th. Vikings, Wolves of Midgard, which I will be attempting to play on Friday after work on Twitch for you guys. For Free Play Friday. And by the way, Vikings is for the Xbox One. Also for Xbox One, Truck Racing Championship. Okay, who gives a fuck? April 6th to May 15th, so about a month long there. From the Xbox 360, this is interesting because I remember seeing this announced at E3 so fucking long ago. Dark Void.
Yep.
Do you remember seeing that announced at E3?
Yeah, it was a long time ago.
Yeah. I believe I was a teenager at the time.
Yeah. That was a really long time ago.
Well, now it's in Game Pass for the Xbox 360, obviously, from April 1st to the 15th. So I probably should play that first. Because that's a short one.
Yeah.
And finally, also from the Xbox 360, there's Hard Caps. Uprising.
Yep.
From April 16th to the 30th. Don't know what this is, don't give a fuck.
Yep.
From what I think I saw from the trailer, I think this is a side scroller that I don't care about. Now, don't get me wrong, I like side scrollers, but then there are side scrollers that I see and I'm like, this looks lame as fuck. Type of thing. Now, anything to add to what Xbox is offering for April before we move to PlayStation Plus?
Nothing really. I'm just getting familiarized with the actual library of games.
Yeah, so.
And their offerings.
Yeah, so if you get Xbox Live at any point, depending on what the time frame is, more than likely, if you do it in April, you'll be able to get the Vikings game. Because that's all the way till the 30th, and then from 16th to the 15th for truck racing if you're interested.
Well, I do have more of an affinity for racing games than other people, perhaps, but...
But if you're interested in Vikings, just wait till I play it and see what you think.
Yeah.
Because I'll be doing that on stream. PlayStation Plus for April 2021. For the PS4, I already have this because I bought it on launch day. So I will be playing it next Wednesday for PlayStation Plus Wednesday. Days Gone.
Yep.
Also for PS4, Zombie Army 4 Dead War. Okay. And...
yeah, I have no idea what that refers to.
I don't know either. And PlayStation 5 releasing into PlayStation Plus for PS5 only. This is the PS5 version because there is a PS4 version of this. But when it launches worldwide, it will launch as a PS5 PlayStation Plus game, Oddworld Soulstorm. However, you will have to buy the PS4 version though. Outright. Yeah. Okay, way to screw the current gen owners, guys. Yep. So, with all of that said, to compare the games, Vikings versus Days Gone, I would give it to Days Gone as a better offer. You?
Yeah, of all those, yeah.
Truck Racing versus Zombie Army 4, I don't give a fuck about either one.
Yeah, I don't know any details of either one, and it doesn't sound like just some random truck racing game could possibly top the other stuff.
Dark Void versus Oddworld. Well, first of all of the games for Xbox Games with Gold are playable on whatever hardware you have.
Yep.
The same cannot be said for the PlayStation Plus games. So for that reason alone, there are 2 games worth playing, in my opinion, for Games with Gold. And if you're a PS4 owner, there's only 1 game worth anything, and that's Days Gone. So on that scoring card, Games with Gold has to take the win, but only just for April.
Yeah.
Would you agree?
Yeah.
So with that being said, we finally get to talk about MLB The Show 21. And this is confirmed, I repeat, confirmed directly from Microsoft and Xbox themselves. MLB The Show 21 will be a day 1 Game Pass release. That meaning on April 20th, when the game launches worldwide on PS4, PS5, Xbox Series X, Xbox One, if you are a subscriber to Xbox Game Pass, just download the game and play it for $15 a month or $10 a month.
Yeah, I was gonna say let's hope that that's not a bad sign for its quality, and let's hope that it can somehow surpass The Show 20.
However, Sony has PlayStation Now, and they do not release their first party or any games on launch day into it. So on PlayStation, on PS4, you will have to spend $60 for this. On PS5, you will have to spend $69.99 or $70 for it. And the prices are the same for the physical copies on Xbox, but unlike on PlayStation, you don't want to do that. Spend $15 to get Game Pass Ultimate, which includes Xbox Live, xCloud, EA Play, and all the bells and whistles that comes with. And you can just download it without spending the $60 for a physical copy. And if you wind up liking it, and if it stays in there for long enough, you can keep playing it until the physical copy comes down to like $20, and then buy it then physically for whatever console if you have both, like I do.
Yep.
At that point. And if that's the case, I would lean towards buying it for Xbox at that point, because I would have already been playing it on Xbox anyway.
Yep.
At that point. But the fun part about this is that the official publisher of MLB The Show, do you know who that is?
Yep.
Who?
The official publisher of what?
The official publisher of MLB The Show 21.
Oh, well, I have to think about that one for a minute.
Well, you shouldn't think about it too long, because it spent its entire existence exclusive.
Well, my only guess would be Activision, but I know that isn't true.
I'll just tell you that because you're wrong. It's Sony Studios.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
It's published by Sony, and it's not going into Sony's version of Game Pass. It's going into Xbox's Game Pass on launch day. A Sony-published fucking game on launch day. That's fun to say.
Yeah, so basically you're witnessing Microsoft eating Sony's lunch.
But
basically,
what's being spun around the internet right now is questions like, how much of this was Sony just going, fine, go ahead and do it, or was this Microsoft exchanging money with Major League Baseball for this to happen?
Maybe.
That's what I'm thinking might well be the case, because
I would think that's an accusation that requires some proof.
Yeah, but it makes too much sense for it to be an outright lie, though, either.
Well, I know that, but it's you don't call things like that a lie until they're proven.
Yeah, true, but
wrong.
Which is more believable? Microsoft handed a big bundle of money to Sony for this to happen, or either Microsoft handed a big bunch of money to MLB for this to happen, or MLB went to Microsoft and went, hey, what are the chances that we could get this, and what would it take for this game to get into the most people's consoles and for the most people to play it? And Microsoft went Game Pass, and I'm willing to bet that MLB just went, sounds good, let's do it. Probably without any money exchanged, even, maybe.
Yeah, I don't know. It just sounds like a really good business decision, aside from any payoffs or buy-offs or whatever.
Yeah. So there's that, and I did do a video discussing this on the channel for the Drew That Games News videos that I do now. Now on the channel,
I do believe that type of exclusionary access or pay to play would be actually sort of shunned by. Hey, what do I know?
Yeah, it obviously pisses off anyone who only owns a PlayStation. Obviously, yeah. and rightly so. But on the other hand, you know damn well that the Sony ponies would be cheering Sony doing something like this with an Xbox title if the roles were reversed. So,
of course.
So, as far as I'm concerned, there are positives and negatives for this, but from my point of view, well, for me personally, it's all positive because
Yep.
I can play whatever here on whatever system. But for those that can't, if you don't have an Xbox, you got a choice to make. If you don't want to spend $60 or $70 for the game.
This is not the first time that Sony has milked its favorite customers.
Well, or have screwed them over.
Yeah. Well, financially, yeah.
Is more accurate to say. Speaking of this particular topic, first of all, the fact that it apparently seems to be confirmed, because it's by many sources that are trustworthy and some that aren't, but everything's pointing to this being confirmed at this point. And this is the kind of thing that when I saw this being reported, I'm like, if this is accurate, first of all, I'm not surprised, and second, what the fuck took so long to make the announcement if this is all true? Cyberpunk 2077's multiplayer has been officially canceled.
Yeah.
Yeah, and?
Yeah, I mean, they couldn't... Look, we both know they could barely get the game to function in and of itself.
They still really can't.
Yeah, they still really can't.
And everyone's still waiting to know or get or whatever at some point in the future any of the free DLC and the whatever paid expansions that are supposed to be planned.
I mean, like, only a moron would be like, oh yeah, well, that game doesn't work right, but we're going to turn it into an MMO.
Yeah. So,
like, only a moron would not notice a problem in doing that.
Well, either way, Cyberpunk being what it is, this is not surprising at all.
Yeah.
And like I said, what took so long to make the announcement? Because we all figured this was the case with the condition of the game, because they're still fixing it.
I mean, can you imagine the chaos if they actually did try to do that?
I wouldn't touch it. I would just sit back and laugh at this point.
I mean, it'd be like... It'd be a mess. It'd be half the people trying to use it would be disappointed.
So, with that said, speaking of internet issues for a game, Outriders first impressions. So, I don't know, Desert Nord, if you saw on either Twitch or it's now up on Drew.Gaming Gaming on YouTube as well, my 40-minute stream of playing through some of the campaign of this.
Yeah, I did see that.
Yeah, as you well know, I believe I said in the stream about the environment and the characters in it that was a stunningly beautiful fuck of a game.
Yeah.
And the environment itself was taking me back to playing Skyrim for the first time back in 2011. It was that kind of moment for me.
Sure, a work of art, yeah.
Yeah. However, right around the 40-minute mark, servers went completely down, couldn't play the game anymore. And then that's when I was basically at, and this is what you get with an always online game.
Yeah.
So when that happens, yeah, my stream was still up, but it was just the servers of the game itself that went down, which means that the publisher and developer of Outriders, that only gives people like me ample opportunity to stare at your main screen and go, well, this is fun to play right now.
Yeah.
So hopefully they get their servers and their connection working properly. And from what I'm hearing, it's because they woefully did not anticipate as many people playing it as possible. Well, gee, I wonder, it's on Xbox fucking Game Pass.
Yeah, well, as we both know, bro, making a beautiful game and then giving it a crappy server is the gaming equivalent of putting the cart before the horse.
Yeah, but overall, server issues aside, this is one of my favorite things that I have started playing so far this year. To the point where when you get Xbox Game Pass, you and I should play this on stream sometime. So, with that being said, we roll into the final topic. But before I do, my final overall impression so far, Outriders, and I will do an Is It Worth It at some point, but it's definitely worth downloading on Xbox Game Pass for sure. That's what I will say outside of that episode of Is It Worth It for Outriders at this point.
Yeah, so, the only thing I can say, just looking at your stream of it, is it's like beautiful game, terrible server.
Yeah. Beautiful, functional. It's a work of fucking art when the servers are working.
Yeah.
But speaking of issues that will not be solved anytime soon, reports say now, and I believe this was reported earlier today. I can't remember. I think it was 8-Bit Eric, but I'm not sure. That reports are now saying PS5 and Xbox Series consoles shortages will persist through 2022.
It's almost like they're doing it on purpose at this point.
So don't expect to get your hands on, if you haven't yet, like me, and I know that Desert Nord's not going to care. He's happy with Xbox One right now.
Yeah.
And he probably will be for the next 7 years, for all I know. Right?
Yeah, maybe.
Well, considering that you were still up until, at this point, still on Xbox 360, I think at the time.
Yeah.
For that fucking long. Yeah, you're going to be on Xbox One for a decade, maybe.
Yeah.
Which is perfectly fine.
Move away from it completely.
Well, which is perfectly fine because evidently there's obvious cross-play and cross-party chat between Xbox One and Series X anyway, so it's not like it's gonna matter. But yeah, don't count on getting a next-gen system until 2023. It sounds like, so in 2 years.
Yeah.
Happy 2021, everybody. So that means that Xbox One and PS4 are going to be current gen for 2 more fucking years. Anyway.
Well, that's, again, this is the persistent problem with availability.
And this also goes back to what Gucci and I said on the first episode of the DDG show when we were talking about this whole situation with PS5 and Xbox Series consoles. And we ultimately concluded, if you saw that, Nord, I don't know, that we both came to an agreement, which, if you know the both of us, outside of gaming, never happens. And in the case of gaming, it's 50-50.
Yeah.
But we both concluded that both Sony and Microsoft should have delayed their next-gen systems till 2025. And I still stand by that statement even now. Especially after this report. But it is what it is. Next gen is an abstract failure so far. From a people actually being able to play on it. Outside of influencers, journalists, and major fucking YouTube channels.
Yeah, people who don't care how much money they have to spend to get one.
Yeah.
Basically.
And then there's channels like us, who, in your case, you're just going to be covering Xbox One for the next decade. Although, to be fair, Microsoft does intend to keep releasing stuff on Xbox One for a long time to come yet, so.
Yeah.
And they're going to have to, because no one can get the fucking next-gen hardware.
Yeah.
For God knows how long at this point.
It's a classic case of a failure to launch properly.
And add to it that while no one could expect what happened in the world with the beer bug and whatnot, but the consoles launched amidst that in November.
Sure, but as we both know, bro, this wasn't a matter of weak demand. This was a matter of weak supply.
That's true too.
And so, as long as they had actually sourced their supply properly and had a manufacturing base that could actually keep up, then the demand was there.
And it's been well documented that because of the beer bug, people have been staying home more, playing games more, which means obviously the demand has been higher than it ever has for games and tech than ever before that we could ever remember in history.
Sure, it's gone from a few $1 billion industry to a $500 billion.
Yeah, it's basically right there with with Hollywood in value.
Oh yeah, well you mean what it used to be?
Yeah. Well, if you want to look at what Hollywood is now, Hollywood is where gaming used to be like 5 years ago now. Give or take.
Yeah, and gaming is where Hollywood used to be.
5 years ago.
Uh-huh.
So,
I'd say gaming is where Hollywood was 3 years ago, or maybe even 2 years ago.
I'm being a little generous, which I normally am not on Hollywood. For obvious reasons.
Saying, when the beer bug came around,
Hollywood
collapsed off the table to zero.
Yeah.
And gaming shot up to primary entertainment source.
It shot up to Oblivion?
No Man's Sky levels of, heights.
I'm willing to call Oblivion better than No Man's Sky, but that's just my opinion.
No, it is, but I just meant the amount of vertical lift.
Yeah, well.
You went from having a few million people gaming every day to almost like a billion.
When you live in a world where more people are hyped for MLB The Show 21 than Star Wars, something is fucked up.
Yeah, we're in an alternate timeline of sorts.
This ain't planet Earth anymore. I don't know what planet we're living on, but it ain't Earth.
Well, it's like we're in the timeline where Thanos snapped half of entertainment out of existence, and this is the half we're left with.
Which is fine because it's the better half, but which is gaming and independent musicians like Tom McDonald. By the way, Hangover Gang forever. But yeah. With that being said, not a good situation for either Sony or Microsoft when it comes to their new hardware. And with that said, what are you going to be playing or watching after the podcast?
Oh, well, I'm probably going to have lunch first, but I'll be getting into probably in the next few weeks at worst, into some gaming on the Xbox One. I'm not sure what yet.
Well, this is an interesting breaking story. Apparently, Star Wars Republic Commando is officially getting a port for PS5. Whoop-de-doo.
I'm sure some folks out there will be excited.
Mr. Matty Plays is obviously excited.
Yeah, that's right up his alley.
Actually, he's got an upcoming event at 5:15. Apparently, it's out today for PS5.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Okay. Doesn't matter. Well, it matters to him because he has a PS5.
1% of the community that still cares about Star Wars.
Well,
he's excited.
And rightly so. Now, if I'm gonna do anything with Republic Commando, it's gonna be the version I have and the version that matters. It's right here on the shelf somewhere. Actually, I got it right here. I can just pull it out and show you guys. The original Xbox version of Republic Commando right here, guys.
Yep.
So if I'm going to do anything with Republic Commando on stream anytime soon, if I care to, because Disney likes ruining fucking everything that they own for Star Wars and pretty much everything at this point. It would be on Twitch, and it would be that version, which by the way is reverse compatible on Xbox One and Series X to my knowledge.
Yep.
So with what I'm actually going to be doing, I'm either going to be checking out other stuff on YouTube or going back to playing Skyrim on PC, I think. Because on there, I just started a Redguard character because I've never played as a Redguard before, and I'm kind of curious.
Yeah.
But from what I've been seeing with playing as a Redguard on PC with the PC mods that I have, when you're sprinting as a Redguard, you have unlimited stamina.
Oh, yeah. Well, which, by the way, is not at all insinuating anything. That was sarcasm.
Because first of all, there's a mod that I have on PC as well as on the Xbox One, because it's available for there too, that it's basically supposed to be like more realistic, like race-based abilities type of thing.
There you go. That's a fun topic.
Yeah, so indeed it is. But in the case of the Redguards, we know that they have the storm speed ability.
Yes, they're highly athletic.
Yeah, apparently that leads to unlimited storm or sprinting stamina, I guess.
Yeah.
So when I sprint, I can just sprint all the way across Skyrim and not get tired as a Redguard woman.
Yeah.
So that's interesting. But yeah, your stamina does drain when you do your traditional power attacks and everything like that. So it's not overpowered, but just the fact that you can sprint all the way across Skyrim is just funny at this point.
Yeah.
But otherwise, I'm going to keep going with my current Let's Play as me as Drew Heartfire on the channel.
By the way, bro,
what's that?
This may sound irrelevant and maybe even unimportant.
Yeah.
But one of the things that always disappointed me about Skyrim.
Yeah.
Was that you couldn't create your own food concoctions.
Yeah, that did always. It didn't bother me till now.
Yeah.
Not until you just pointed it out. It's kind of like the kind of thing when you would listen to George Carlin and he would say something and like, I never thought of that. Yeah, we do that, don't we?
Because I mean, they give you so many like massive amounts of ingredients, but then they only give you preset items. But they don't do that with potions.
Yeah.
So that always confused me.
And that's another thing. You would think that you wouldn't need a mod to allow for cooking to increase your alchemy ability. But
you'd think.
But you do need a mod for that.
Uh-huh.
Which I do have that on Xbox. I can't find a good one on Nexus on PC for it, so.
Yeah.
Or at least one that I feel comfortable with knowledge that it might actually work. But I do want to, instead of continuing the Fallout 4 Drew play, I do want to do a second Skyrim Drew play with a different character entirely in parallel with my character. And right now I'm leaning towards one of the other races that I've never played as.
Yep.
Just to see what happens with the mods on Xbox. And considering how Redguard is going on PC, I'm thinking about either Redguard or doing a thief character as a Khajiit type of thing.
That'd be funny.
Yeah. Basically, kind of trying to be in the opposite of what my character is. Which my character is, I'm intending to be like a knight dabbles in magic at times because I'm a Breton, but preferring the knightly qualities, if you will.
And then there's the Argonian.
I do have a character on Xbox that I've already started dabbling with as a Dark Brotherhood, and I have his birth sign as the Shadow. So so basically, in Elder Scrolls lore, and he's a Black Argonian, so he is a Shadow Scale.
Yep.
And in Elder Scrolls lore, Shadow Scales born in Blackmarsh are given as a hatchling to the Dark Brotherhood and raised as an assassin their whole life.
Yep.
Hence why this Argonian of mine is a Dark Brotherhood member to begin with.
Yep.
So yeah, so I'm already doing that behind the scenes to see what happens with that, but we'll see what I wind up deciding to do, and when I wind up deciding to do it for the other character for the Skyrim playthrough to replace the Fallout thing, because I don't want to play Fallout because it has copywritten music that I can't turn off easily.
Yeah, that was always the thing streamers have hated about it.
Yeah.
And the other problem is that if you don't play the music, then you're losing out on a major atmospheric part of the game.
Absolutely.
Especially in the case of like New Vegas, for instance.
And that's also the case with the generic music in Cyberpunk 2077.
Yeah.
Because the better atmosphere is with the copywritten music, like Night City.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which coincidentally is my favorite song from Cyberpunk. And coincidentally is the best part of Cyberpunk is the music, so.
It's not a shame.
Well, actually, yeah, that's the best part. The second best part is the glitches while you're streaming. If that makes any sense to you.
Yeah, because it's hilarious.
Exactly. Case in point, when I've said on X-Ray Girl stream on her Twitch channel while she was playing Cyberpunk and running into shit in her car, I'm like, well, driving lessons with X-Ray Girl is funny, but when I'm driving it in Cyberpunk, it's not so much running into things, it's going over the bridge and flying into the river.
Yeah.
For me. Because I told you this story, I don't think I ever told it on camera. I remember getting on Jackie's bike for the first time after the big heist and everything that happens with him. Going down the road at top speed on it, then some glitch happened, I think. Or I hit a car or something. Went flying into the air, into the river. The motorcycle sinks to the bottom of the river. I get out and I'm like, well, so much for taking care of Jackie's bike. I'm sorry, Mama Wells. Then I pick up.
You took care of it, all right. You carried it right into the river.
Then I had my character grab the phone. I'm like, I can call Jackie's motorcycle. Let's see how this goes. And then it comes rolling right down the street and parks right in front of me. And then I look back at the river. I go, how the fuck?
Yeah. Cyberpunk magic.
Yeah, that's what glitches are. Cyberpunk magic.
Yeah.
Anyway, with that being said, we're over an hour and 4 minutes at this point. But
yep.
Yeah, gonna just be watching stuff potentially. I wanted after work to do Days Gone for PS Plus Wednesday today, but I don't have the fucking energy anymore or the will to do that, so that'll have to be next Wednesday. Plus, there's no urgent time frame for PlayStation Plus games. Plus, I think that's going to be the only one that I do for PlayStation Plus anyway, so.
Yep.
More than likely. Because what the hell was the other one again for PS4? Oh yeah, Zombie Army 4, yeah. Days Gone is going to be the only one that I do, and it's already installed anyway, so.
Yep.
So yeah, that'll be next Wednesday. Friday, I'll be playing the Viking game, or Void or whatever it is. Dark Void.
That'll be interesting.
Yeah, so Friday I will actually be playing Dark Void because that expires soon as a PlayStation Plus title.
Yep.
And then the following Friday after work, I'll be attempting to play Vikings. And that will do it for April's Free Play Fridays then.
Yep.
So basically, there's only 3 games to play for the month of April, as far as I'm concerned. Days Gone, Vikings, Dogs of Midgard, or whatever it is, and then Dark Void, which I have never played. Surprisingly, I think, given how old that thing is.
Yeah, well, some people would say never a better time than now, right?
Well, I remember our uncle said to me when I graduated from high school, better late than never.
Yeah.
So with that being said, thank you guys for tuning in. If you stuck it out this long, thank you for doing so. And if you did stick it out this long, hit the like button down below to let us know that you watched the whole thing. God help you if you did.
Well, thank you if you did.
And God help you and thank you if you did. Don't forget to subscribe, hit the bell, share this video out. And I will be sharing this on Phoenix Reviews on Facebook as well, which I should be doing that more to get more stuff on there again. And with that said, I will see you guys. See, it's Wednesday. Tomorrow's Thursday. Maybe Throwback Thursday for something old. If I have the energy after work tomorrow. If not, then I will see you Friday after work then for Free Play Friday for Dark Void. That being said, see you guys either tomorrow or Friday. See you then, guys. Goodbye for now.
Yep, see you.
And we are fade out.